I like to compare it to a CEO and his business. You're the CEO, your money's your business. And just like in a business, you have employees. Well, your money's your employees. Are you just gonna have your employees sitting around just looking at each other, not doing anything? In a business, no. You're gonna have one behind the counter. You're gonna have one stocking shelves. So why is your money not doing the same thing? Hi everyone, welcome to the High Standard University podcast. My name is Quincy Yoder, aka Q-Goat, your soon-to-be favorite smart dumb guy. And man, I'm excited to get started. This is the first episode of the podcast, man, and hopefully a lot of episodes to come. And I've been thinking a lot about what I want this first episode to be about. And I think I settled on, I want to do the financial stability series. What that's going to be is, if you watch the normal video I did, it's not that long, it's about 8 minutes. It's the second most viewed video on my channel. And in that video, I go over 4 steps that you need to become financially stable before you start reaching financial independence. But I didn't really go into detail about those steps. And I really want to take the time in these podcast episodes to go in much depth as I can. If you've seen the first step of that video, and obviously if you clicked on this video and you read the title, you know, this episode is about budgeting. And more specifically, we're going to talk about the money management system I use to go from a negative account balance to 5 figures. And I think this is going to be very helpful to not only my audience, but the people that are not my audience yet, that are looking to start on their journey to financial stability. Today, we're going to be talking about what is a budget, how to make one, and when is it appropriate to revise your budget. With that being said, guys, I'm so excited. We'll just get into the content. Grab your notes, bust out your water. Let's talk about budgeting. So, what is budgeting? My definition of budgeting is simply a money system that all financially literate people use to make their money work for them. If you call yourself financially literate, you're going to have a budget. There might be people on YouTube saying, ooh, I don't have a budget and all these things. They have a financial plan for their money. It might not be specific down to the specific dollar or the specific cent, but they have a plan for their money. And that's all a budget is. I don't want you to think of a budget as like this thing that 40-year-old couples do when they're low on money. No, it's something that is essential if you want to be successful financially. I like to compare it to a CEO and his business. You're the CEO, your money's your business. And just like in a business, you have employees. Well, your money's your employees. Are you just going to have your employees sitting around just looking at each other, not doing anything? In a business, no. You're going to have one behind the counter. You're going to have one stocking shelves. So why is your money not doing the same thing? One should be over here for expenses. One should be over here for emergencies. One should be over here for investments. You should have all these jobs for your money because that money is your business. And you're either going to be a good CEO and have your money thriving, or you're going to be a bad CEO and go bankrupt. Your choice. Obviously, if you clicked on this video, you're the former, not the latter. And I'm so excited to put you guys on the right track to financial stability so we can all be high standard kings and queens. With that being said, let's talk about how to make the budget now that you know what the budget is. My strategy starts like this. I want you to take out a piece of paper and draw a T-chart. On the left side, I want you to write income, and that's where we're going to start at. I want you to go to your check stubs, and I want you to get 4 months worth of paychecks. If you get paid every week, that's 16 checks. If you get paid every 2 weeks, that's 8 checks. If you get paid every month, that's 4 checks. I want you to add all those up and divide by 4, and that's going to be your average monthly income. And we did that so we could be conservative. I don't want you picking 1 month because that might have been a good or bad month for you. So we're going to use 4 just to be safe. So let's do a real life example. Let's say I get paid $1,000 every week, right? So if I were to add that up, because you know there's 16 weeks in 4 months, I'm going to add that up 16 times, and that's going to give me $16,000. I'm then going to divide by 4, and that's $4,000 per month. That is my average monthly income. Now that you have that, I want you to put that on the left side of the column. If you have a side hustle or a second job or anything like that, do the same thing. Add up the income you made in the past 4 months and divide it by 4. If you've done this, good job. You're off to a great start. And some of you guys are probably actually surprised because it's either higher or lower than you expected. Either way, we're going to move on to the right side of the T-chart and we're going to start with expenses. There's 2 types of expenses in my budget. There's fixed expenses and variable expenses. First, let's start with fixed expenses. These are just bills or subscriptions that prices do not change. They stay constant throughout the year. These are things like your rent, your insurance, your cable, your subscriptions, everything like that. Go to your bank account, find out these expenses, write them all down and add them up. That's your monthly total for your fixed expenses. Now, let's move on to variable expenses. These ones are a little bit tricky because these can change throughout the month. And that's a good thing about these expenses. You can change them without necessarily having to delete them. Unlike fixed expenses, which is if you want to change them, you might have to delete the plan. Variable expenses would be things like food, gas, haircuts, your light bill, your water bill, things like that. These are all expenses that are dependent on how much you use or how much you spend. Since these are more trickier than fixed expenses, we're going to treat them kind of like income, but except we're going to stretch it out to a 2-month period. Are you serious? Somebody's out there mowing right now? If you guys hear that, that is my neighbor out there mowing. I am so sorry. That shit is so annoying. I know y'all can hear it in the background. But fuck it. With High Standard University, just try to plead it out your mind a little bit. So let me give you guys an example. Let's say for the first month, I add up all my variable expenses and I got $425. Then I add up all my expenses for the second month and I end up getting $390. I'll add all those up and that'll be $815. I'm then going to divide by 2. And that's going to equal $407.50. That's what you'll put on the right side underneath variable expenses. And if you want to, give yourself an extra $100 that you can use every month, that you can use to pay for random shit that just comes up. Maybe your dog has a flea infestation, like my dog did recently. Or maybe you just want to buy something random on Amazon. That money is just shit that you can use to, pay for random stuff. Or maybe you just want to splurge. But be careful though. Because once it's gone, don't your ass be reaching in any other baskets. Great job. You're almost done. You have all your income and your expenses down. Now we're going to do a little subtracting to start getting to the fun stuff. I want you to subtract your income for your expenses, and I want you to see what's left over. Ideally, I only want 70% of your income being covered up by your expenses. So we use my last example of $4,000 a month. I still want $1,200 left over when I subtract, because that $1,200 is my 30%, is what I have left over. If not, this is where it really gets fun. I want you to go back and look at your expenses. I want you to divide it between needed and not needed expenses. You should know what your needed expenses is. It's your car, shelter, internet, phone bill, things like that. Stuff that you actually need. Oh yeah, and food and water. Things you don't need is your Pornhub subscription, your Hulu, your Netflix. You don't need that subscription to yoga monthly that you don't use. Things like that. Cut out all the unneeded stuff until you reach that 30%. And once you reach that, if you want to go more, then do that. That would do nothing but help you in the following steps in the next episodes. I then want you to open at least 3 bank accounts. One for your fixed expenses, one for your variable expenses, and one for the leftover funds that we're going to use for your goals. We're going to do this so you're not tempted to fuck up your budget or just simply make a mistake if you just have one bank account. For your goal account, make sure it's a checking and a savings account that you get. And if you can help it, try to get an online bank because they offer the best benefits. I then want you to go to your employer. Rather, you can do it online or you have to be there in person with them and tell them to split your paycheck up 3 different ways. And since you did your budget correctly, you're going to have the exact numbers to give them. Give them the number for your fixed expenses, put it in your fixed account, give them your variable expense number, tell them to put in your variable account, and for your goal account, just tell them to put the money that's left over in your paycheck in there. And you're going to use that money to complete the goals that we're going to talk about in upcoming episodes. So now that you have the budget down pat, how often do you need to revise it? The answer is simple. Every time you add a new expense and every time you want to add a new financial goal, you want to revise your budget. So for example, if I want to add a $12 subscription, I'm going to add that to my fixed expense, and that's going to affect everything from my goal account down. In conclusion, guys, a budget is, like I said, a financial plan to help you reach your goals. And that's what we set off to do on High Standard University. We want to complete these goals because we want to become financially stable. And once we become financially stable, we're then going to attack and take risk so we then can become financially independent. And that's when the real fun starts. And that's when you truly become, at least financially, high standard. Guys, I appreciate everybody watching this video to the end. Hope everybody has a blessed day. Be looking out for the next upcoming episodes. And I'm gone. Get started on that budget now.